Right, we're going to code the quadratic formula now in Python. What I'm going to do is leave this on the screen so that we can refer to this equation or these formulas here. So I've got Python started up and I'm ready to go. Now the first thing I want to do is get from the user whatever value A is, whatever value B is, and whatever value C is. So I'm just going to use a simple input for that. I'm going to say A equals input. Please enter a, better still, the coefficient of x squared. So that's the correct terminology for that. And give a little gap. So that's my A dealt with. Now I'm going to do the B. B equals input. Please enter the coefficient of x. And again, a small gap. And finally, my C value. Please enter the numeric value. Let's just call it that. So I've got my A, B and C from the user there. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm almost finished on the user part. I just need to do the formula. So my last thing is going to be to call a procedure called solve, and I'm going to pass it the values A, B and C. And I've got to write this a function to make it work, and this function is going to be these two formulas. So let's get on with that one as well. So the function is def, it's called solve, and I have got three values coming in, A, B and C. Now I'm going to lay out in detail this formula, and I'm going to try and use words to help me. Later on I shall replace the words with the correct values, but see if you can follow along what I'm trying to do. I'm decomposing or breaking down this task to make it a little easier. The first one I'm going to do is inside the square root symbol. I'm going to say, or take the value here, b squared, and I'm going to write b squared English equals. Now what is b squared? Well, it's just b times b. Simple as that. Then I'm going to take a look at this little component here, 4ac, and I'm going to write that one as well. So I'm going to set up a variable 4ac equals 4 times a times c. And I've got another component on the bottom called 2a. So I'm going to write 2a equals 2 times a. So I've given them their mathematical values here, but I've used words to help me work it out. This part now, the root, that's what I'm going to do, the root part equals. Now to do this I'm going to need the square root function, and the square root function in Python we have to import, so I need a library called math, import math, because Python doesn't do square roots. Most languages don't do square roots, and I think it's called math dot square root. So that's really dealt with the symbol. Now I need to do what's inside this symbol, which is b squared minus 4ac. So I've taken care of this. So I'm ready to find my roots now. I'm ready to do both of these formulas. So let's handle the first one, this one here. So this one's called x1. Let's use the terminology that we've got here. x1 equals, now I've got to do the numerator. Well, actually, let's handle that one up here. Let's put the another variable, numerator equals, but this is the x1 numerator, so let's try that one. X1 numerator, because they're different, equals minus b, so we're here, plus this root part. So I've got the numerator there. So x1 is just the numerator divided by 2a. There's the x1 numerator divided by 2a. Job done. Next one I'm going to do is the second equation, which is this one here. So I'm going to call this the x2. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that there. The two things I'm going to change is the fact that this is now the x2 one, and the symbol here is minus, not plus. And then I'm just going to write this line again. And I'm going to say that this one is x2, my second root. That's the x2 numerator divided by 2a. And that's it. I've written both of these equations now. All I really need to do is print out the values, print, let's see, x1 equals, and let's just put that into curly braces so that we've got a placeholder. Give it a couple of spaces and then say x2 equals, and again a placeholder, and then I can finish my string and I can format it. Dot format x1 x2. So all I need to do now is save my program and run it, and that should give me the two roots. So let's try that, fingers crossed with this one. So let's run it and see if I've made any mistakes. And if I have, it's probably around the root part here. So run module. And what I'm going to do is use the formula that I used initially, because I know what the two roots are. So I used 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. So I can use this to check. If you remember, that gave us minus 2 and 0.5. So where's my shell? So what do I enter in? I enter for a, the coefficient of x squared is 2. The coefficient of x is plus 3. And the numeric value is minus 2. Press enter, and there we go. I've got my two roots. So I've got the root at x1 is at 0.5, and the second root is at minus 2. So that's the first step, really. We've got the program working. It does what we want. We do need to test it for quite a few things, but not in this video. As long as you followed this video, you will be able to write that formula.